Welcome back, everybody. My name is Dragagon, and this is Gregtech New Horizons. So, as promised, I have returned, and the base is a little bit more fleshed out. My friends and I have been hard at work flattening a lot of the land, carving a huge chunk out of the mountain. The tree farm is up and running. I currently have the Steve cart put away. Because I had 2,000 wood sitting in a drawer over in the corner there that was providing all of the fuel. You can see here I've got one coke oven out here. This one I have been primarily using to smelt up the coal into the coal coke and then forming that into blocks, and currently making steel with that. I have also rebuilt my smeltery, so my smeltery is up and running. It has a bunch of glass. I needed the glass for one part of what I've already built. If I head inside, I have gone ahead and made the cutting machine and the thermal centrifuge. The cutting machine was the one that required the piece of glass for whatever reason. It had a piece of glass in its recipe. So I've built both of those machines. I had then gone into the Twilight Forest and I found both a nickel and a lead/silver vein and went ahead and mined up in order to complete those quests. The big ones being to then grind up a bunch of the lead and then making the battery alloy and the tin cables. Currently I'm running around with an ore finder wand with a piece of lepidite ore. The reason for that is because one of the rewards you can get does happen to be the lepidolite, and so I decided it would be better if I use that in an ore finder wand because they don't have anything that can come up from those salt veins from the can't find these ores. So I haven't been able to find anything that would be useful for finding any of the salt, so I went ahead with that option in order to try and find some kind of salt vein. I don't know if maybe it's a typo that they're doing spessartine ore here instead of the spodumene ore, but in any case, I am currently running around looking for those. So far, I've just been kind of back and forth across two of these ore lines, just trying to get a feel for where there might be some salt, and so far, the only salt is my tears for not having found any. In any case, the next stuff I am looking at doing, aside from looking to get the salt, I'm also currently digging around trying to find the zinc ores, the small zinc ores that can spawn in the upper levels. Specifically, I'll probably run into them more often in the nether. But anyway, I need those zinc ores in order to try and get the gallium dust so that I can complete this gallium arsenide quest. Alternatively, if push come to shove, I may have to smelt up a bunch of stuff and collect all the XP. I've been dying a lot, otherwise I'd probably have several levels worth already, and then I can use the small buckets along with an XP drain and make the I can make the gallium dust. So the tiny gallium dust right there, but it takes, what is that, 8 XP buckets to get one tiny pile. So that's on the agenda for the most part. I also went ahead and while I was in the Twilight Forest, I ran across several of the veins of live root, and I did also, let's grab that now. That should actually complete. There we go. There is the Ironwood quest down here in Novus Thaumaturge, working towards getting my first wand. So the impregnated stick is going to require me to make the carpenter, and so I will need to come down into the forestry and farms and start fleshing out this line of stuff. Not necessarily that centrifuge. Yeah. I doubt I'll be using this centrifuge, although I can make it. It'll be the Carpenter that is the big one. Especially, just is going to take me a little while because I need to make the robot arms, and I am still not great with the expensive initial electronic circuit. I was thinking about making a full stack of them, and that's just not something I have worked my way up to doing with making the glass tubes and whatnot. I've just kind of been making them 2 or 4 at a time and going from there. Probably the biggest thing is just buying the stuff to make them with the coins. I don't normally use a lot of the coins except in this initial phase to try and knock out all of the different circuits that you need. So yeah, lots of progress today for us. Most of it unfortunately has not been very progression related, simply because we've been flattening out large areas to build upon, and then trying to get stuff knocked out, building up a safe area, torches all over the place. Look at that hideous torch job. As we try and keep the Blood Moon creatures at bay so we don't have to worry about those, and then just otherwise taking care of business around here. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I can go ahead and walk you guys through what we do have set up back here. I have my solid fuel boiler. It's a 2x2 3 high. That generates a 120. No, that's 12. So 240 steam per second. It's the well, no, 10 times 12. Sorry, so it's like 1,200 steam per second. No more than that. Sorry, 2,400 steam per second just in this guy here. Over here we have a 2x2x2 of the low pressure that is running off of the creosote. I did complete that quest where it wants you to make the 10 pumps and 10 conveyors and all of the piping, and you can see I've got these first 4 and the second 4 all hooked up and running. Running off of these 8 will constantly, it'll give you a surplus of creosote running a 2x2 2 high liquid boiler, and that will give you enough, just slightly more than enough charcoal to run this 2x2 3 high solid fuel boiler. The next steps for this thing are to, this guy's already max size. This is where he will stay. The next thing to do is to build a max-sized solid fuel boiler, expand this guy out so that he is a max-sized liquid boiler, and then running enough of these guys. It takes 24 coke ovens in order to generate not quite enough creosote to run a liquid fueled boiler max-sized non-stop. So the whole reason I have 24 of these guys there is because I can make a max-size one of these. In doing so, you can run a max-sized solid fuel boiler, and this guy may actually have to be dropped down to a 2x2 2 high. I have to check my math on that again just to make absolutely sure. Yeah, because I don't say over here anymore. So yeah, those are the big things. This is, if I run pipe from here into this guy, the 2 of these combined is enough to power 2.5 amps of LV power. Once everything is fully put together, you can actually run 10.5 amps of LV power. So just short of, or sorry, it's 2.5 amps of MV, which is, yeah, 10, and then there's a little bit of leftover steam running it at that pace. So I'll be able to run a small LV setup off of just this steam setup, so I am good for a while other than just expanding the boilers. It's nice because it's pollutionless. I don't have to worry about ticking damage from the base. Instead, all of that stuff is just contained right there in the 4x4 of bricked blast furnaces. So what is next? Next on my list of things to do, I can now take and grind up the, oops, not that, I want the nickel. And I can grind up this nickel ore, and I can begin looking at making the Invar that will be necessary to go into our first electric blast furnace. So that is definitely something on the list. Likewise, I've built the pump. I just need to get the mining pipe for the pump done. I could probably go after the hydrogen. I've got a little bit of limonite up there that all I'd need to do is centrifuge. I have to get the glue out first, but centrifuge that little bit of limonite in order to make the glue, in order to make the couple cans of hydrogen and knock out that quest. Finding salt is a big quest upcoming. That's going to be a pain. And then worse than that is probably going to be collecting enough of the small zinc ores in order to get enough gallium to make this initial gallium arsenide. And that, of course, will then go into creating those MV tier chips. Once the poor EBF is up and running, I can start thinking about doing the aluminum, and the aluminum should then get us into our MV. But in the meantime, I'm just poking at different quests as I can make them, as I think about them. You can see we've taken care of quite a bit of the food. There's the ironwood plates for that magic armor if we felt like going that direction. Definitely going to get the EBF. I want to get the prospector up and running so that I can look around for a good spot of oil that I can use with the oil rig. Steve Carts for the most part is done. I don't know that I'll mess with the rest of that stuff except later on just to say that, hey, I completed every quest. The carpenter is definitely on the list of next things. And then breaking into magic and starting to get going on that. To grind or not to grind, still haven't touched those quests. Still have the nether gardens to find, and then getting all of the food stuff. I really should just, hunker down and get all the food stuff done since we have most of the gardens now. I can start looking at making those. But yeah, just in general, trying to craft up various things that we'll need as we need them in order to get through LV and get over to the MVH where we can start having more fun. So yeah, just a nice quick video today covering the stuff that we have done, prepping for the next set of stuff that we want to do. Anyway, I will catch you all next time. Till then.